want those who come to Rivers State because you have heard about 600 billion. You come here, you collect, and you open your mouth, you talk anyhow. I want to say it. You know, when you are doing something for the interest of everybody, some people will come out to make sure those things don't work. I say it here, Victor, tell the brother, I want to say it here. Take this message. Tell your national secretary, leave Rivers State alone. Leave Rivers State alone. Go and ask those who have tried it before. Go and ask those who have tried it before. Don't take our support from Mr. President for granted. You have to be careful the statement you make. You have to be careful. Today, you are enjoying in Osun. You don't know those who did the work. You open your mouth to talk about Rivers State. Anything you see, take it. Anything you see, what?
Agreement is agreement.
Nationally, I mean, from his submission, uniting two parties, and the question a lot of people keep asking, where does he belong and where does he draw his legal, powers from?
Well, I think this is purely politics, and then if we have to look at the constitutional provisions of political parties and their leadership, together with the provisions of the Electoral Act, is different. But we're dealing with a figure who thrives in controversy. He thrives in, taking a path that has not been charted before by anybody, and it seems to have benefited him. Now he's, doing it in Rivers State. Who knows what he will do tomorrow at the national level? He's actually upstaged, his own political party, his own said political party, the PDP, and its leadership, together with its presidential candidate, frustrating the party in the last presidential election. And now he's moving back to Rivers State. So the challenge, therefore, is all of his standing now, his foundation now is President Bola Tinubu, who tomorrow may also be his victim the way he's dealing with Governor Siminalayi Fubara this time. However, in terms of making that bold assertion that he has now formed a situation where he leads, because his unspoken claim is that he has both united the PDP and APC, and what he did not say is that he's the lead leader, because as a national figure who is the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, who enjoys the said endorsement of the president, he believes that he wields control. All of this is the build-up to the governorship election in Rivers State, whether or not Governor Siminalayi Fubara would have a second term. So
but the APC, starting with the national chairman of the APC, has stated very categorically that Fubara is the leader of the APC in Rivers State, and that again has been re-echoed by the national secretary, Senator Bashir. So is there any contestation? The question is there any contestation here that Fubara is the leader of the party? And secondly, how pragmatic would you say Wike's politics is when you look at the political space?
Well, pragmatism, just look at the time he became governor, from the time he became governor till the time he brought up Fubara and then used the courts to intimidate and harass Fubara to the point that governance came to a standstill in Rivers State. Wike counters and audaciously and by issuing warnings to the standing political leadership of the APC by telling them that he has some form of grassroots political magic wand with which he will control Rivers State. So it becomes the contestation you're referring to is that of a politician who believes that he holds Rivers State grassroots together, and that whether or not members of they are in the PDP or APC, he controls them. Whether or not that's true would then be a matter that will be determined in the political field. Well,
that political field is really gathering momentum in Nigeria now, 2026 to 2027. But this is the argument of some observers that such political arrangements which Wike has contrived may concentrate power in the hands of a few. And to what extent then can a federal minister engage in local political engagements without coming or crossing constitutional boundaries?
Oh, obviously, there is no, political power in Nigeria is actually acquired only through the vehicle of a political party. And now here's a figure claiming to have united two political parties without any formal measure, without basing it on, some kind of, I would say that he went by tempting some people to defect from one political party to the other, and then using the courts to justify it, and then use the powers of the federal might to also give them some form of protection. Now, he relies on manipulating the system. He relies on his own special political maneuver, which has done very well. There's no doubt about that. He's done it. He's played, starting with G5, he negotiated power. As a PDP member, becoming a minister in an APC government that seems to have the serious support of the president, which I think that the president is riding on a tiger by the tail, because one day this same controversial and maneuvering political figure may one day be the political undoing of Mr. President, if he one day now claims that he put the president in power, more or less, and that's the reason why the president is unable to do anything to him, and that's the reason why he feels a sense of entitlement in 2027 to also continue as minister, to the point where he can determine whether or not it's a governor that ought to enjoy the power of incumbency as the head of and the leader of a political party is now being threatened by a political figure who is simply a minister, a position he enjoys, by the simple pleasure of the president, using it to now threaten the political future of the governor. That is unprecedented, but he does so because he has a political history of maneuvering the system, of disrupting the institutionalization of political parties, and then having his own way. It is a lot of tests for the Rivers people to determine whether Nyesom Wike as governor and then now as minister in a far distant, removed structure from the political party that reigns in Rivers State, now is also asserting political control to the point that he is issuing warning to APC national leadership. I think something is brewing.
I think the adrenaline is pumping now. Let's just quickly go and listen to Nyesom Wike earlier today in Port Harcourt. Wike there. Hate him or like him, he brings a lot of favor to the political scene. But the question will be, what are the possible legal or ethical risks where influence supersedes institutional structures?
Is that what we're saying? Instability. And the exaltation of a personality above institutions, above traditions, above ethical considerations in politics, which means they no longer matter. You see, Wike's kind of political jingoism, which is a mixture of threats, and unspoken influence, and to some extent, management of violence, political violence that seems to come from nowhere.
But we've not seen anything like that. In his visitation,
the violence may not necessarily be only in terms of action, but what about the language? Anything when they see in quote, whatever they see, they take it. What kind of thing is that? And then
Arise News crew experienced that a few days ago.
When you issue such kind of subtle threats as a way of gathering some political storm, and again, I think that a lot of blame goes to the doorstep of Rivers State political class. Even the current governor, even though he appears to be a very mild-mannered and gentleman, I think that much of the leverage Wike has is because he has gone very much unchallenged in Rivers State. Look, what is real political figures in Rivers State that should challenge Wike, that are not really living up to the bidding? Where is former Governor Rotimi Amechi? Where is Tony Cole? Where are all those persons who should actually serve as leaders? I can excuse former Governor Peter Odili, he is becoming an old man. But I think if Wike is this jingoistic, where is Rotimi Amechi should also stand up? Whether he as an ADC member or as someone who could also say, look, he's coming with some political, I would say, capital, yes, of being in PDP or being in APC and now romancing with ADC, and then also gathering some political followership. In Rivers State today, Wike seems to be, ensconcing himself as the one who determines who has exalted himself above the norms, the political norms of even Nigeria, as bad as politics is. He now issues threats to both the leaders of PDP and APC, and then issue warning that he is in control and that they are then issue boundaries. That is uncalled for, and then it's only been possible because of Rivers State politicians that I think that are docile, that I think that are probably enchanted by Wike's largesse, and which I don't know the source anyway, but I think that the man seems to have command a sort of magnet that demands the respect and following of these politicians in Rivers State.
I was just going to talk when you said the wider implications, and when you looking beyond Rivers State, the kind of political braggadocio, as some people would call it, what wider implications, might the evolving political behavior have for Nigeria's democracy, particularly in terms of governors' accountability, opposition, legitimacy, and future elections?
Governors are usually very powerful in their domains, politically speaking. It's just that we have an unusual figure now who is so tenacious to his days as governor and now as minister. His case is slightly different. I'm a bit familiar with the politics of Delta State. So we also had a very powerful figure in the person of your man who served as deputy senate president, who was the de facto leader of the APC in Delta until the governor decided to defect. Now, what is the situation there? He didn't. mean, Wike should learn from that kind of relationship. He is submitted to the governor, and then there's some kind of political harmony in Delta State, and the people benefit for that. So when you're talking about implication, it affects governance, it affects progress. Imagine what happened to Governor Siminalayi Fubara and governance in Rivers State, which actually stood at standstill. There was no progress, apart from the courts that spent almost so long a time determining whether some person is defected, whether a person is speaker or another person is not speaker, until the governor was even suspended for 6 months. The wider application is that democracy is affected. You see, the cost and price of democracy that we pay is for stability, is for peace, is for progress. However, when political figures exalt and put themselves above those norms and those objectives, we now see a situation where persons can use some kind of prebendal politics to influence the system and disrupt it to a point where we can no longer have a governor determining whether or not he can run a second term. It's an uncertainty that we again bruise violence, and that sort of violence that Rivers State is noted for is not good. So for Nigeria, the rest of Nigeria is watching, and the president may not just think that he's in his cocoon in Abuja watching that the trouble is not going to touch him. If Wike is able as minister to issue a mild threat to the president that, look, do not take my support for granted, because I could withdraw it in 2027 and that will be seriously consequential. With the kind of politics Wike plays, nothing stops him from even going back to Atiku to form one kind of alliance. Nothing stops him from saying he made President Tinubu, he made it to win in 2023, and then he can be his undoing at the same time bring another person. The man sees himself with some megalomaniac tendency, perspective that he believes that he can do and undo. Somehow it is time for us to define Wike, or else he will define something for this president, and this president might find it too late, because we have a political figure that seems to have maneuvered federal politics, local politics, and now he's claiming to do something that has never been done before. He has coalesced two political parties that are at war in a manner that he says that is informal, yet he claims to be in control. And leader issues warning to the leadership of the two political parties to be careful, or else he will wield the big stick. Imagine that a minister who can be sacked tomorrow just by the word of the president, commanding that kind of influence, simply shows that the man has something that he's using to hold our president, and that is not good for our president and our democracy. Our president should not tolerate certain kind of figures. Nobody should be larger than the president in terms of political influence and the determination of the standard of democracy in our country. But look at what Wike is doing. He's defining our democracy with a measure of controversy, and that he can ride roughshod above our political norms and our laws and our constitution. That is not fair. That's not a proper thing to do in a democracy.
Because some people would argue that Nigeria's democracy is now, political mercantilism.
Exactly. Unfortunately, so the mercantilist, prebendalist manner with which he approaches politics in Nigeria is so destructive, to the extent that people drop their reasoning when they decide to be political followers or political players. And this accusation goes to the politicians in Rivers State, those in PDP and in APC. Why would they not be able to subject one man to the rules? Why would a man leave Abuja? Of course, and look, let us be fair to Wike, whether you like it or not. It's very difficult for those of us in Abuja to criticize him when you see the outstanding progress and development that he is carrying on here. But it's painful to start thinking that if the man can perform so well in Abuja with all of these distractions in his quest to control Rivers State, what would it have been for governance if he was actually concentrating in developing Abuja? Unfortunately, that's not the situation. However, to think that he can make these kind of bold assertions without being called to order by the president becomes a very serious issue, a controversial issue for us to address, because it will affect politics in a manner where somebody talks in such a belligerent manner. I mean, the only way people can actually respond may think in speaking the same language of belligerence, or coming back to say, let us mobilize against him. Unfortunately, we don't know if there's some measure of uncertainty in Rivers State politics with this kind of divisive and controversial figure in the person of Nyesom Wike.
Well, maybe a lesson here for Nigerians is to, or rather, taking the Fayoshe's stomach infrastructure lesson very seriously in an asphyxiated environment, right?
There's no doubt about that. And interestingly, the Fayoshe that you mentioned, Wike are good friends. And Fayoshe seems to understand the psychoanalysis of Wike to the extent where he issues warning that please let Wike not be your enemy. The point is that let Wike also not be the enemy of democracy or the enemy of Rivers people. Unfortunately, he seems to have his way now, and it is believed that the president should call him to order. If the president doesn't call to order, it's just a simple natural expectation in life. The president might be his next victim. So let's keep watching. The Nigerian people must rise up and say, look, we cannot exalt powerful, influential people above our political norms. Our political norms should also improve beyond prebendalism and what you refer to as mercantilism, which is capture power, take the money that's meant for the development, amass it to yourself and use it to bait people and control them in a manner that is contrary to the future of our democratic progress in this country.
Thank you very much. No better place.
You listen to that, Wike. Wike is the one trending since yesterday. Wike this, Wike that. Wike is threatening everybody, including Mr. President. You see, let me say this and mark this video down. Wike political career will go down in 2027 after presidential election and governorship election in Rivers State. Wike political career will go down. See, all this one Wike they do now. I like Wike, but because of the politics, what is before Wike, maybe he are not saying it. That's why I'm saying this. See, mocking clever, because the trees are together. Oh. That's why he's very clever. He jumps from one tree to another because all the trees are together. Wike is still doing this now because of the power of presidency, because he thinks that he made Tinubu the president. Not just he only delivered Rivers State to Tinubu based on agreement. He's been rewarded for that, and as an FCT minister. Now, the worst part of Wike, what maybe he doesn't know now. Wike is not a PDP member because it has been expelled from PDP, and is not a APC member yet. Because of this trouble, Wike will be forced to join APC officially. Because of this trouble, maybe even if he forced to join APC officially, Rivers State, take it or leave it, Nyesom Fubara is still the 001. Because constitutionally, politically, what you see happening in other states, a governor of the state is the leader of the party in that state. You can't be an ex-governor and be a leader of the party in the state that APC, or the state that the party is the president, is a governor of the state. No. So all this one now, Wike is doing all the Tinubu is keeping quiet. Tinubu is, if Tinubu is even pushing Wike out, spin Wike out. Spinning him out, or you have already spinned Wike out. But Wike don't know. So take it or leave it now, because definitely Tinubu is not coming back for second term. That one has already been registered in heaven. Take it or leave it. I used to be argued. And if Tinubu leaves office tomorrow, Wike automatically pack his bag and baggages and leave with Tinubu to his village in Rivers State. Or he can live anywhere he wants to live. At that time, this power when Wike get, it will not go down. That time, Nyesom Fubara will have time to deal with him. Now, whether Wike having fashion in APC, having fashion in PDP, just be doing that. Automatically, God, this Wike is doing now is Wike to push Nyesom Fubara out. That Nyesom Fubara should not have a second ticket. Because of your problem, Nyesom Fubara decided to play the politics, play along with you and Tinubu. He now officially joined APC. He's a member of APC, a recognized member of APC, of which Wike is not a party member yet. He's just a passerby in APC. He's just working for APC simply because Tinubu did him a favor. If Tinubu has not done you a favor, by now, you will not have here Wike this powerful. Because just imagine, say, what Tinubu did to El-Rufai, former governor of Kaduna State. After all the Tinubu begged El-Rufai to come Kaduna, to come on stage, to come and say, if you did not come, if you did not campaign for me, if you did not say something on this podium, it's not going anywhere. You need to say something. He did. He begged El-Rufai work with him. They traveled together. They campaigned. They did all the campaign. El-Rufai answered questions for him brilliantly. At the end of the day, hoping that he was going to make El-Rufai one minister, but he couldn't make him a minister. He failed, not because they said El-Rufai have issue with certificate, or he could not. He couldn't go through screening. Who does that? El-Rufai El-Rufai as that special person for Tinubu. You will say he goes to National Assembly. He could not. They could not screen him through. El-Rufai with all the political experience, former SCT minister, two-term governor. I think he has all the qualifications, and now he's doing his PhD. You say he does not have qualification, he does not pass through. Meanwhile, all the small boys who have not girls who have not had political career before, they were screened through. El-Rufai for that matter. People that did not even campaign for Tinubu, they screened them through, and much more El-Rufai. So Tinubu just decided not to give ministerial list to El-Rufai. That has been the problem of El-Rufai, between El-Rufai and Tinubu. So Tinubu just did Wike a favor, because if Tinubu has not after everything he did for Wike, he paid him off. And then I don't want to mention figure that was rumored then that he paid Wike to deliver Rivers State for him, and also in compensation and making the FCT minister. So after the election, Tinubu won the election. If Tinubu decided not to give you a minister, there's nothing Wike would have done. Nothing you would have done at that time. Tinubu is the president, so he decided to reward you. All this one you are doing now. Tinubu play the politics with you because of you now. Rivers State that has never been a house of that has never been a state for APC. Because of you give it to APC. Because of your problem, scatter PDP. Tinubu use you to scatter PDP. You say you are the major shareholders in PDP. Tinubu use you to play politics, play games, scatter PDP, force a PDP governor to his APC, and you are still there bragging this and this and that. If Tinubu now, see, the game is playing out now. Tinubu cannot deal with you again. Tinubu is done with you. Even Tinubu wants to continue second term, Tinubu will not even retain you as SCT minister. God forbid, if at all Tinubu wins second term, he cannot retain Wike. If Tinubu want to do something in Rivers State, Tinubu no need to come through you. He will go direct with the governor. He will go direct with the governor. Do you understand? So if Tinubu leave office, Wike leave with him, the governor still remain. All these boys now, because of you, all the House of Reps, this thing, assembly members in Rivers State, they don't decamp. PDP member don't join APC, and Nyesom Fubara is still their number one. You see, so at the end of the day, Wike will be the loser. Yes, you make your money already, no problem, but political career, you go down. Tinubu now, he will play you out. Now 1 year remain for us to know all this, because definitely APC member will not give Wike tickets to give his loyalists. No, automatically, whether Wike get problem or not, automatically they will give Nyesom Fubara a ticket for second term. So there's no even need. They are not going through primaries to say Wike will bring his person Nyesom Fubara. They have to go through primary. It's automatic ticket, because you are not a party member yet of APC. APC will not listen to you. So you need to join first of all. Before you say anything in APC, you need to first of all register. You cannot be outside the door and telling somebody inside what to do. No, you can't do that. I have said this many times that if Wike thinks that he's strong, he's powerful, he's very, he's brutal, he's this, is that, people in APC have it more than you. They are brutal than you. If you think you have money, APC members too, where we don't know them, some of them, they have rabble. If not having it more than you, they have rabble. So whichever one, they are ready. Now APC member, the national leader of APC chairman, have already told you that Nyesom Fubara is their candidate. So they don't know you. You are not their member yet. So all this one now, this 2026, everything will play in 2027 before election. Then we shall know now. Just a couple of months from now, we know all this will come to an end. Wike, once he leave office at that time, all this respect go, whoa. It's getting too much. It's getting out of hand. Tinubu say he will get tired of you. Anyways, but not that Wike play his politics where they say Tinubu is playing. I like Wike, just that he's overdoing. The only thing I don't like about Wike, the way they disturb the governor for that, they disturb Nyesom Fubara. If now another thing they use your position, they do now, they make the state better. They make things work for the state. They use your position, your capacity, make the state work, make the region where you come from work better than every other region. I will give you respect for that, because I like Wike. Yes, we like people. I said this. We like people like him from the south, people that can resist the power from other regions. Do you understand? Not all these small politicians who are loyal to one person, who are today they call them shoe shiner for APC, for Tinubu. No, Wike is not like that. So I would have loved person like Wike, more Wikes in the south. But anyways, appreciate this video and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Leave your comment.